This week's Outlander provides us with a small but significant resolution on a character we haven't seen in a long time. Jerry McKenzie, Roger's father, had a significant part in episode 6, but in a surprising way. In other parts of the hour, William is punched, thrown into the stockade, and given a smallpox diagnosis while Jamie orders his betraying tenants to skedaddle. Captain Cunningham is still alive, but unable to move his legs the morning following the assault on Jamie. Claire tells the captain it's highly unlikely that you'll ever walk again, while his mother assists her in caring for him. Cleveland, Buck, Josiah, and Jamie have a debriefing on the porch. When Jamie finds out that they killed the loyalist militia that was trying to help Cunningham, he is shocked. He and Buck are both disgusted by Cleveland's celebration of the murders, but what's done is done, and Cleveland makes sure to remind Jamie that he owes him a great deal. Inside, Cunningham laments that he won't be able to walk for the rest of his life after wondering if Jamie will kill him. Not while he's under Claire's care, and probably not ever. Just responds, "You will remain in my custody here until I can determine an increasingly appropriate fate for you," when he questions Jamie about his plan. The area where he resided with Emily/Wanha and her people is reached by Ian and Rachel. They inquire about Wahanha and her kids when they run across his acquaintance Aronia Wanrate. Aronia Wanrate replies, "Do not go there." At first, I assume he's talking to the Hand, which is strange, but he really means that Ian and Rachel shouldn't go to the village. Nothing left but ashes. Aronia Wanrate is unsure if Emily and her family were among the Mohawk who managed to flee the destruction. He directs them to Joseph Brandt, who may be aware of Emily's fate, because he believes Ian is a traitor who abandoned the Mohawk to join the rebels. Joseph is reluctant to assist Ian. Ian explains that he was told to leave the tribe, saying, "I didn't want to go at all." After that, he and Joseph argue over how the Continental Army destroyed the villages as payback for the Cherry Valley slaughter, and it's all extremely depressing. All who take a sword shall perish by it, Rachel says, unable to contain her Quaker feelings as the men shoot. War is an endless repetition of violence. After a tense exchange, Catherine, Joseph's wife, informs them that Emily is still alive and that she and her kids are on the land. However, Joseph claims that Ian is unable to see them since it is time for him to leave. Later, Rachel sobs as she tells Ian that she is unreasonably envious of Emily and that she has pondered if he would have left her if he hadn't had to. Ian appears to comprehend for the first time that his, now, wife is suffering, and he concludes that knowing Wahanha and the children are alive is sufficient. Rachel is aware that's simply untrue, though. She thus meets with Joseph in private and begs him to let Ian see his ex-wife and kids. She reveals that Ian and Wahanha had a son, something Joseph was not aware of. How can she put herself in the way of a parent and their child? She continues, "I risk losing Ian, perhaps, but it is a risk I must take, with regret but determination." After Brandt gives in, the meeting is held, and Ian demands that Rachel and Augie attend. In addition to her husband Kaheraton's passing, Emily has been plagued by a recurrent dream in which their son is taken prisoner by soldiers, made to fight in combat, and ultimately killed. "Are you going to move in with him? By your side. You will be safe," she implores. When Ian and Rachel agree, they return to the ridge with Swiftest of Lizards and one of Rollo's grand pups. In exchange, Emily gives Augie his name, Hunter, which is Rachel's maiden name, as we know, but Emily does not. In a quiet moment by himself, Roger tells Brianna that he felt motivated to stay with the men when Francis Marion declined to assist with the guns. He recalls, "The desperation there reminds me of going through the stones. That fear of something tugging at you, of being ripped apart." Roger has been conflicted about becoming a pastor in the past, so Brianna is surprised that the experience made him realize that he wanted to get ordained. He describes to her how the explosion that knocked him down brought back memories of his father, catching him the night Roger's mother passed away. He recalls being transported to safety in the London Underground during a bombing and says, "I never understood how I got out alive." With tears in his eyes, he continues, "She threw me from the stairs as they collapsed, and he caught me. I don't know how, but he was there." By sending his father back through the stones, he claims to have saved him and he saved me. Roger is now certain that he and Brianna are doing what they should be doing and are in the right place at the right time, and she's persuaded by his assurance. As an aside, the sequence effectively integrates Diana Gabaldon's novella, A Leaf on the Wind of All Hallows, into the plot of the show's last season. Roger's father's journeys through the stones are the subject of the book, which is undoubtedly worth reading. Somewhat related side note. If only they had been able to include the Scottish prisoner somewhere along the route. In any case, it appears like Roger is experiencing a great deal of heavenly inspiration because he soon finds himself standing at the foot of the bed, pulling up Brianna's gown and leading her to a holy experience. After she's seen to, she mounts him like Paul Revere galloping toward Lexington, taking off his clothes. Later, when the Mackenzies return to Fergus and Marsali's house, they find a note from Francis Marion that says, "The Swamp Fox was so impressed with Roger's devotion in the battle, he's going to get them the guns they require." After all, William is still furious about Ben's betrayal. His cousin, Ralph Bleecker, is a general in the Continental Army. Ben claims that his father would much rather have him dead than a traitor, and he doesn't feel bad about it. You see, after reading Common Sense by Thomas Paine, he came to believe that the Americans were correct. However, he knew that his family would be embarrassed by his change of heart, so he pretended to be dead to save them from public disgrace. Amaranthus, too? William is shocked when Ben reveals, "It was her idea that I pretend I was dead." While William is in the stockade, Denny visits him and claims that the patient needs a clyster. This procedure is so complicated and repulsive that it forces the young soldier who is watching over William to leave the room for a time. When the two men are by themselves, Denny explains his strategy to pretend that William has smallpox in order to get him admitted to the camp's quarantine. And then, oh no, when the illness kills him, he'll be able to leave. William remarks, "A fine physician you are," with a smile. Jamie decides to expel the men from Fraser's Ridge who banded together against him, threatening to murder them if they come back or take a different stance. Claire is concerned about the fate of their spouses and kids. A good husband would have been aware of that, and a wise one would have listened to his wife, Jamie responds. King, he drafts evictions, letters, has them delivered to the men, and gives them 10 days to leave with their families. And if they come back, you will be shot on sight, the letters threaten. He personally delivers Hiram Crombie's. The retailer approaches Jamie covertly and says, "I regret what happened at Lodge." According to Crombie, Cunningham persuaded him, as well as several other Ridge settlers, that resisting the British was pointless. Jamie is indifferent. After declaring that the Beardsleys will take over the store's operations, he storms off, pressing Crombie's eviction notice against his chest. Without their husbands knowing, Mrs. Crombie and the other women impacted by Jamie's eviction notice approach him to plead with him to change his mind. They pledge to turn their spouses into decent, non-murderous people. Jamie won't back down, though, because he understands how difficult it will be to uphold that commitment. Nevertheless, Jamie eventually softens and devises a new strategy. He gathers the settlers on the ridge and declares that the expulsion order is being revoked. The families are allowed to remain, but the land contract with the men is being invalidated, and he will now just deal with the wives. Elspeth Cunningham then requests that Jamie give Captain Cunningham, who is incapacitated, to her so she can return him to England. She will probably take care of him for the rest of her life, but "I would do anything for my child." "Wouldn't you?" she queries. After Claire gives Elspeth a heartfelt farewell, Jamie releases Cunningham, and the problematic Tories are permanently removed from the Frasers' lives. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. See you in the next review.